Okay, so the first requirement is Steam VR, and obviously some Steam VR games. If you're looking to play MetaQuest exclusives on PC, sorry, but it's not going to happen. Although you can play basically every single Steam VR game. But anyways, after you've confirmed that you have Steam VR and that it's also installed, go into your browser and look up the ALVR GitHub. By the way, ALVR stands for Airlight VR. And then go to SideQuest page. But first, let's start with ALVR. So when you're in the page, go over to here on releases, find the ALVR launcher linux.tar.gz. Now let's go over to SideQuest, click on Get SideQuest, and the Advanced Installer for Linux. So now that both of these folders are done installing, let's go ahead and go to our desktop, right click, create new folder. I'm going to name mine PCVR, but you can name it whatever you want. In this folder, we're going to be storing all of our PCVR info. So let's go back to our downloads, hover over both of them, right click, cut, back to our desktop, open this folder, right click, paste items. Now we hover over them again, right click, extract here, and this might load for a little bit, so just be patient. And now we can delete these two folders, and now we have our extracted ALVR launcher Linux and SideQuest. Let's start with ALVR. Open up this folder, double click this. Now this is what you're going to see. Press add version. Stable is the current stable and vanilla version. Nightly is the beta version. I like using stable just because it's more secure. But anyways, make sure it's on the latest version. Press install. It's obviously going to install. Now it might look like it's stuck on 100% here, but you try to let it load for a little bit. When it's done, press launch. Now it's going to run up the setup wizard. Just press next a bunch of times. Make sure reset settings, add firewall rules, and there we go. Although, still more stuff you got to do. Go over to devices, press launch Steam VR. Now we have to go to logs, and in this warning, it says for functioning VR, you need to put the following line in Steam's VR launch options and restart it. So let's go ahead, copy and paste this line of code. Control C, go to our Steam VR, right click, properties, Control V. Now we can close this. It also says, and this line of code in launch options to all games that you're trying to play. So let's go ahead, copy this as well. It's a bit shorter this time. Now we go to any game that we're going to be playing. Right click, properties, Control V, and there we go. Now your Steam VR in game should function as normal. Although I would recommend changing some settings in here, like presets. You should obviously change depending on how strong your computer is. So if you have a low-end computer, probably change these settings to be a little bit lower. If you have a high-end, you can change it to be a little bit higher. And refresh rate depends on your headset. These are the settings I like to use. Oh, and codec preset is very important because it depends on your GPU. Now if you hover over this, it says AV1 is only supported on newer GPUs, which I do have, so I'm going to use AV1. But if you don't have those GPUs, you can try out H.264 and HEPC to see which one works better for you. This application also supports hand tracking and eye and face tracking. I don't really need those, so I'm going to go ahead and disable them. But anyways, if you're doing wireless, go to connection, make sure this is on UDP. And if you want to change any of these other settings, then you can watch more in-depth videos about that. Let's head over to installation and register our ALVR drivers, and that should be everything. Now we load onto our headset and follow some steps over there. Okay, so once you're in either your Quest or Pico headset, go to the store, search up ALVR. Once it's done downloading, install it. Okay, so once you open it, there's gonna be some numbers on your screen, but since we're doing the wired connection first, it doesn't really matter. But anyways, make sure you have SideQuest and ALVR open. Plug your cable into your headset. You're going to get a notification pop up. Press yes on this. And then all we need to do next is just press launch Steam VR and it should launch. Alright, as you can see, we're in Steam VR. Everything's working. You can see I can play all my games on here. Anyways, here I am in the Steam VR home. Now, I don't know if it looks low quality here, but you can change the quality, obviously, if you need to lower it or higher it. And yeah, I mean, there's basically no latency. It basically just works the same as how it would if you're on Windows. Although, what if you want to do wireless? But before you say that, I just want to say, if you have a cable, I highly recommend you don't use wireless and you just use the cable. Because obviously with the cable, you're going to get better connection, better FPS, better bandwidth, connection speeds, all that. Although if you have to use wireless, here's how. First off, you gotta make sure that your headset and your PC are on the same internet connection, or else it will not work. But anyways, if you see this little trust button and it has your number of client there, go ahead, press trust. But if you don't see that, all you gotta do is just press add device manually, enter in all this information, enter in the IP, and then press save, and it should load. But I'm just going to do the easy way, press trust, and then launch Steam VR. And there we go, we are playing wirelessly. I have no cable attached. I can see the desktop and everything. All my games will work. And yeah. But anyways, that is how you use PCVR on Linux. If you want a more in-depth guide on settings, features, how-to, stuff like that, you can go watch other people's videos. But yeah, this is kind of how to set it up, how to use it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you, and have a good day.